From the Aero Sports Tennessee home office along the banks of the Stones River in the heart of Rutherford County, this is the Coach Will KRIESKY Show, a weekly showcase of highlights, interviews, and insights from Riverdale head football coach Will KRIESKY. Now here's your host and play-by-play voice of the Warriors, Chris Bozen.
Takes the snap. Here comes pressure. Finds a receiver. It's Luke Tritch. Luke Tritch at the 5. Luke Tritch into the end zone. He was open. Hampton delivered it. And with 3:21 to go in the third quarter, the Warriors have their first touchdown of the night on an 18-yard touchdown pass from Hampton to the freshman Luke Tritch. Extra point is pending. Riverdale now trails 10-9 here in the backyard brawl.
Back-to-back games with a touchdown now for Luke Tritch.
Well, welcome in to episode 6 of the Coach Will KRIESKY Show here on Aero Sports Tennessee. I'm Chris Bozen, joined as always by Riverdale head coach Will KRIESKY. And Coach, welcome. I know that the Backyard Brawl Friday night was a disappointing result for Warriors fans in a 17-10 loss to Blackman that came down to the final play of the game. It included a weather delay of almost 2.5 hours. We moved the start time up. There was a delay there. We cleared the stadium a couple times. But I'm curious, in the aftermath of that game, your on-field message to the team on a night that they faced a lot of adversity. They had to grow up a lot. They had to do some things they had never done before. What was your message to them?
Well, I just preached to them, how they handled the situation. I thought they handled it with first class, just everything. You go in and you tell the kids as soon as you walk in the locker room, you're going to have a 15-minute half. And then we end up having, like you said, a 2.5-hour halftime. And I was really, really proud of how these kids handled the situation. But then, the message has been starting at Sunday at 2:00 is, do we want to be average or do we want to be elite? I stress to the kids that some of the same mistakes that are happening Monday through Thursday are still happening on Friday. And so we have to clean up things Monday through Thursday. We can't have the same mistakes throughout the week and expect different results on Friday. So, we talk about, wanting to be elite around here. Well, we got to practice elite. We have to change some things in practice and do some things different. And the kids have done that. Monday and Tuesday has been really good, and that's another thing I stress to the kids is, we would have one good day, then a bad day, then another good day, or we'd have good day, bad day at practice. And, that's just the familiarity of the players and getting to know each other and just getting to know the coaches and things like that. That's why we expect big things from Aiden Evans. He's one of the guys that's been around and been a part of us and understands what we do around here. And so those guys are coming, he's leading like he's supposed to and stepping up. But again, we gotta adjust things in practice if we want better results on Friday night against the elite teams.
And isn't this, part of the growing pains of a team? Even your seniors on this squad, they're in new leadership roles. Aiden is in a new leadership role. Hudson's in a new leadership role. And you've got freshmen, sophomores, juniors playing big roles. And this is just part of the process.
Yeah, it is part of the process. I've told you before, I'm not very patient, so I'm learning my patience, and I'm trying to work with Eli Clark. Losing LeBron Shelburne was huge. It was critical for us, and it's messed up, or not messed up, but switched up our offensive line a lot, and we're trying to get the pieces fixed and figure out that puzzle, who are the best five, and who are the best five that's going to play consistently together. And so we're still working on that and getting that fixed and trying to, solve that puzzle. And it's getting there. Kari King's doing a great job leading them, and LB's still at every practice, talking to them and coaching them up. And EJ, man, I love EJ. He's just a guy that just wants to play, and he's working hard, and he's being a leader too to the guys. And again, it's just going to take time for us to mesh and get together and really be that team.
We saw in our intro highlight the offensive play of the game. That was the 18-yard pass from Gavin Hampton to Luke Tritch. Coach, once again, Luke plays beyond his years. He's a freshman. He's a younger guy. But I am so impressed by his tenacity, his confidence in going across the middle. I mean, it's unlike most freshmen.
It is. It's very impressive. Hudson was a 3 years ago was going to be a freshman that was going to get a lot of playing time until he fractured his foot as a freshman. And both of those kids are very similar. They work very hard. They're quiet. They don't say a whole lot, and they just come ready to work. They do a lot of work outside of practice, outside in the weight room, and to make sure they're better and make sure they're prepared. And those two kids, just have a different mentality, and a mentality that can lead this team, and a mentality that helps players around them get better.
We're going to jump into these highlights because there are a bunch of highlights to get to. One of the things about this show is, yes, we're going to talk about the wins and the losses, but we're trying to shine a spotlight on some outstanding individual and team performances, and there are always good performances to look at. The first one I want to take a look at came early in the game. It's a guy that's been playing key defensive plays for you, and that's Caleb Woods with a big sack of a talented quarterback, Javion Elliott. Caleb's performance in the early going in this season has been really solid. Javion Elliott was a handful. I was really surprised by just how well he played. He looked very comfortable outside the pocket, more comfortable outside the pocket than he was inside the pocket. I thought you did a good job, for the most part, containing him, not allowing him to get positive yardage too much on rushing, but he would extend plays and find receivers downfield. That was a good play by Caleb.
That was a really good play by Caleb. Again, like you just said, Caleb's just kind of been steady Eddie, doing his job and doing what he's supposed to do. And he is another leader on our team. Caleb's dad was a head football coach for many years in the state of Tennessee, and now he's the tight ends coach at TSU. Caleb's dad was the head coach at Cane Ridge, and he led them to a state championship game a few years ago. And Caleb just knows. He's been around the game his entire life. He's like my son. He lived in the field house, he lived in the weight room, he lived in the coach's office. If you ever come by, you'll see Caleb sitting in my office, because that's just what he's used to doing. He's used to sitting in his dad's office and giving his opinion to his dad. Now he's sitting here giving his opinion to me every day on what we should do at practice, how we should practice, what we should install, and things like that. It is nothing negative. It's nothing bad. That's just how he grew up, and I understand it because that's how I grew up. I grew up in a field house with my dad coach. My dad was assistant coach for 20-something years, and that's where me and my brother lived. We lived in the field house, and so I don't take that stuff for granted. I enjoy those moments because that was really special for me in my time and my growth, growing up, my childhood memories, and I take pride in that. And that's me and Caleb do have a very special relationship because I understand where he's coming from. And, his dad stepped away from the game his junior year, and then this year got a role at TSU. And we were very fortunate they moved down here, and he's been an excellent addition to our team.
Elliott is a challenge to prepare for in the style of quarterback he is. I mean, he's unlike a lot of the quarterbacks that I've seen. He had great arm strength, I thought. He showed precision, presented a challenge to you for sure.
Yeah, he did. And I've talked to WGNS radio and DNJ and everywhere. I'd love to just go call that kid and tell him, man, you played a heck of a ball game. I wish I had a cell phone or something. I would. That kid, I think he won the game for Blackman. What he did was very impressive. Like you said, there was 3 3rd and longs that he was able to extend their drives. And if he doesn't make those plays on 3rd down, we could have won the game. We may have won the game. I don't know, but he never wavered. His confidence was, you saw it after we made it 10-10 in the 3rd quarter, that highlight you showed. He walked out there with confidence, and he brought that confidence to the other players around him. And he was a starter last year at Rockville, and now he's a starter at Blackman. And you could tell he's had that game experience, and he's been there before. And that experience helped. And his leadership is helping Blackman and helping them get better. And yes, I was highly, highly impressed with him and their running back Knox last Friday.
The play calling throughout the game on both sides and the timeouts that were taken. I mean, there were some early timeouts taken in the first half by Blackman. You took some early timeouts in the second half, showed just how critical every single play was in this ballgame. Our next highlight came on a 4th and 4 call, and I loved the play call on this one.
Vaughn to his right side on 4th down. Now he'll sprint Vaughn out of the backfield, look right, dump it across the middle to Tritch. Tritch at the 30, he's got the 1st down. Luke Tritch, well-designed play call there, Ethan, as they looked out of the play we had just seen on the swing pass to Vaughn. It drew the defense's attention, and Tritch cut in right in the middle for that kind of a middle screen look almost and get the 1st down.
A lot of people don't appreciate the fact that play calling is not in a vacuum. You're setting up things early in a game for later in a game, things you can come back to, things you've put on film. I love that play call.
Yeah, Coach Barnes and his staff do a great job. They actually talked about it and installed that play last week. I think it was the Clemson game the week before that they saw it on and knew that we had some formations and things that we could run that out of. And they did a good job. And Coach, like you said, Coach Barnes and Coach Rail played that chess match all night with Blackman, and they did an excellent job. Excellent job. I can't brag enough about them too and what they do and how they set their play calls up, install their plays, and do things. And when they call them during the game, and like you said, that was just a great call at the right time.
And the execution by the players as well. I mean, even then when the play calls come in, they still have to execute it.
Yeah, they do, and they trust them. And again, that's things that we rep throughout the week, and they rep that play, and it was successful during the week because like we do, like we go best on best a lot. So we do our practices best on best to make sure our kids are prepared for Friday night, and that play was hit a few times in practice. So Coach Barnes had confidence in calling it. And like you said, the kids, once Coach Barnes called it, the kids also had confidence that they would be able to execute it.
Next play we want to go to, you mentioned it just a moment ago. That was Jabari Kemp, the running back, and what you had to do with him. You got a nice stop on him by your defensive player, Morris, on the next highlight. We have talked about Czar often, but he got right up in there, plugged that hole, and Kemp was also a handful. I mean, they had a good backfield. Their tandem of backs did a nice job, but a good play by Czar there.
Yeah, I think Elliott and Kemp are one of the best duos you'll see around. I mean, those two are unbelievable athletes, and they play very well together, and they're going to have a lot of success throughout this. No, those two are going to have a lot of success throughout the season, as long as both of them stay healthy. But yeah, Czar's an excellent player. He makes great plays. He uses his hands really well. When Coach Rail sends him on blitz, he comes full force. I mean, he doesn't have a half speed in him. He's going full speed every time, and right there he was able to come off the edge and make a play. And that's just, again, that's another thing that they rep during practice throughout the week, and it was executed right on Friday night.
One of the big offensive plays is our next highlight. It was a completion from Hampton to, once again, the freshman Luke Tritch.
They'll start 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. 2 receivers left, 2 to the right for Hampton, moving right to left. He will fake the give, complete the pass to Tritch. Tritch at the 40, 45, 50, 45, 40. The freshman, Luke Tritch, is drugged down at the 30, and they'll get him on a horse collar to tack it on a few more yards. Luke Tritch on that quick slant. He loves to go across the middle.
But you can see there in that highlight something that Blackman did very well. Their DBs did a heck of a job always going for that football. It comes into play on the last play of the game. They do a great job even after a catch trying to strip that ball out.
Yeah, they did. They do a good job of, Coach Crosby over there does a great job with those secondaries and working on punching the ball out and trying to get the ball out. Creating turnovers is huge. And you got to compliment Luke for protecting the football in that situation. He could have got comfortable and relaxed with the ball, but he didn't. He kept it high and tight like he's coached to do. Gavin and Luke are getting comfortable, and that's good to see. They keep working, and just like all our other receivers, they're all working hard to get that connection and keep working and keep growing throughout the season.
The next highlight we have was the culmination of that drive. It results in a field goal from your special teams unit. That trio, Coach, has been very solid for you and special teams as we go along in region play and head towards the postseason. Always very critical.
Yeah, it is. It is very critical. And those three work hard. They go out, early before practice while we're still in meetings and finishing up in the weight room. And those three are constantly working, constantly making sure they're doing things right, and constantly, just making sure they're in rhythm. And I'm really proud of those three and how they stepped up and what they've been able to do for our special teams.
Yeah, that was the end of the first half is 10-3. Like you said, you went in thinking it's a regular halftime, and then we got the lightning delay. Did you guys find a snack? I think you had said you were able to even look at some of the first half film during that long delay.
We did. We downloaded the first half and we split up. The defense was in the meeting room. The offensive skill was in the coach's office with Coach Barnes and the offensive staff, and the offensive line was in the freshman locker room. And they were all watching film. They watched every play, every single play of the first half, and got our corrections. And I preached. During our break, I preached that we weren't playing Riverdale football in the first half. I felt like we were slow and we were thinking a little too much. We weren't playing fast and physical like I've said on the previous shows. And I stress that to them, guys, we got to start playing fast and physical. Quit worrying about making mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen. Let's just play the next play. They're a good football team. They're a great football team. And so are you. So quit stressing about making a mistake and go play fast. And I think that's what they did when we were able to start coming back to play. They started playing up to Riverdale standards.
Ethan Markham, my broadcast partner, and I, we talk about movies often during the broadcast, different movies that we've seen. It makes me think of the Top Gun Maverick moment, if you've seen that movie, where Maverick is just talking about, come on, kid, just fly, fly, right?
Yes.
At some point, you just have to embrace what you've been taught, what you've learned, and go fly.
Yes, and that's very similar to the message we've been stressing all week, man. Let's just go play up to standard. Believe in yourself, believe in the coaching staff. Go play and have fun.
The next play we had, the first play in the second half, the highlight was another defensive play, and it was a stop on the other running back, Nance.
Javion Elliott from the pistol. He's going to hand off to Nance running left. Nance trying to pick his way through, and he'll be slung to the ground. As getting his hands on him was Julius Malden, the junior defensive lineman.
Julius was the guy who launched the spear during the run through to start the game. Another good game, and he's putting together some good games back to back now.
Yeah, he's stringing along some good plays, good games, and he's getting better every week. Coach Rail and his staff, and Coach Haley and Coach Martin are working with him, and and Coach Fuqua every day to make sure he gets better and start getting his technique, fixed and doing some little things right and being great every play, not being great 2 plays and then average 1. They're working on him being great every single play, and he's accepted that challenge and bought into his role. And we're excited to see how he continues to grow.
The other thing I liked was how many black shirts were around the football, Coach. I mean, guys aren't, they're not leaving it to one guy to make the play. You have several defenders there.
No, they fly around, and that's what they're coached to do. Every play in practice, Coach Rail, they all 11 have to run to where the ball carrier is, and if they're not, they got punished. Coach Rail keeps track of that throughout the practice, and again, like you said, they're doing what they've been taught to do throughout the week, and they got to keep doing that.
Let's go on to our next highlight. It's another defensive stop of that quarterback, Javion Elliott, on a completion this time. Coach, did you guys talk about that at halftime? Because we did notice coming out the amount of rain on that artificial surface. It does change the footing, and it seemed to give some guys some footing issues at times.
Yeah, we did. We stressed to them, short, choppy steps, not so long stride and get off balance. And we talked to them about that because, like you said, it does get slick. People don't realize it does get really slick out there and can be hard to run on. And so you have to really be able to control your body and be able to have good leverage when you run and good body leaning, body position.
Getting back to the offense, Jacob Vaughn, look, you have found these leaders offensively, defensively. Vaughn's a young one. He breaks off a very nice run in our next highlight that we want to go to.
20. They go right to left, do the Warriors. Handoff. Vaughn looking for running, who has it, 25-30. Tries to beat a tackler, does, still on his feet, bounces off one man. They're trying to rip the ball out. Vaughn still on his feet to the 45-yard line. The sophomore Jacob Vaughn, like a pinball, bouncing through the defensive secondary and then holding on to the ball, picking up a huge first down.
And we talked about it. It's that balance. He is so good at staying balanced, finding a way to stay on his feet, not going down. And that's a big run. That might be the offensive spark they need.
His balance to pirouette that way, to absorb contact, man, he's impressive. I love watching him play.
Yeah, he is. He's getting better every week. Again, it's all new to him. He's a sophomore. He didn't play last year. We did dress him, and we it's a few games last year when we got him up. We put him in, let him run, and he was number 97 for the varsity last year. And and all offseason, his JV, that's his nick. We call him JV, and we call him Mr. He was going to be a Mr. Monday Night superstar. You're going to be JV, you're going to be a Monday night, and that motivated him, and that really motivated him through all offseason. He worked hard. He believed in himself, and he kept proving coaches wrong. And he told us he'd be the starter by the time the season started. And I'm proud of him. He still has ways to go, but I'm proud of the role he's accepted and things he done. He was in here with me this morning at 7:45 watching film. We were watching we went over film together, watched practice film together, and because he wants to do all the little things right. He wants to be a great back. He wants to be a great leader, and he is. He's growing up. He's getting better. He's come a long ways from his freshman year, and I'm proud of him. And like you said, he has some talent.
Your receiving core is deep. We've talked about a lot of those guys. And Riley Talley comes up with our next highlight.
In the gun now, 3 receivers to his right, 1 to the left. Back on his right side is Vaughn. 1st and 10, wants to throw across the middle, has his man. It is number 4, Riley Talley. Riley Talley to the 20. Riley Talley will have another first down. The 5'11", 190-pound senior went across the middle of the field, and Gavin Hampton delivered it on a rope.
Coach, defenses are going to try to take Corbin Reynolds away as the number 1 receiver. They're going to start paying a lot more attention to Luke Tritch, who operates a lot out of the slot. That's going to require other guys like Talley, like Burns, who's got a highlight coming up, to get involved in that offense. That's going to make it click a little more efficiently.
Yeah, it is. And Tally and Gavin are getting on the same page. They had a good summer, working together and things. And Tally's had a few catches every game, and I think his catches will increase every week. Tally's fitting in with us well and doing a great job, and we're proud of what he does. And he does a great job with his role. And when his number's called, man, he makes great plays. He made a diving catch week 1 against Knox Catholic, and I'm proud of what he's done and where his growth with the team. And like you said, with the guys we got, they're going to start doubling some guys, and other guys will be able to have more opportunities.
After the touchdown that we saw as our opening highlight, you go to kick it off, and I love this special teams play that comes up because it's a fantastic tackle.
As the momentum shifts over to Riverdale here in the 3rd quarter, Weaver will go with a pooch kick here, kick it short to the 25-yard line. It's fielded there. Now reversing field, going to come back to the left side and diving in to make a heck of a play. What an open field tackle. As getting in there on special teams, flying around Christian Murdoch, the junior DB, and he went like a missile and took the legs out underneath the ball carrier.
I loved not only the tackle, but I loved getting to the sideline to celebrate as well, because that was an early season thing we talked about, but a great play there.
Yeah, it was a great play, and he eventually made his way over to me and said, "Coach, did you like that play? Did you like that play?" But Christian's another kid, man, that's grown up in this program, and he had a rough year as a freshman, and he's really grown up and matured. And his goal this year was to try to be on every special teams. He tried to I think blocked the extra point against Knox Catholic early on, and he's getting better, man. He's a great kid. He's bought into everything. He's changed his habits in the classroom. He's changed his habits in the weight room, and he's just changed personally, man. And I'm so proud of that young man. Like he's gonna be successful in life one day, just by being part of a football program, being part of our program, and just changing his habits. And that's what made him get on the field. And he had a goal to be on the field this year, whether it's special teams or not. And he earned it. And again, when you see a guy buy into everything you do and change who they are in the classroom to become a better student, that's what it's about. And yes, he made a great play. Yes, he's a good football player, but I can't brag enough about that young man right now.
Coach, when you can find the carrot that can motivate kids, right? Whatever that carrot is, if it's making a team, if it's making second team, if it's getting on the field with special teams, exactly what you said, it changes performance in the classroom, it changes performance in life, and you change lives. And yes, we're trying to win a state championship, we're trying to win a region championship, you're trying to change lives.
Yeah, you want these kids to be successful one day. You no matter what they choose to do outside of football, every year you only have a handful of kids that sign scholarships to play, college football, and the other kids that don't, are going out, they're going to work or they're going to college, they're doing something, and you want them. That's like I told them on Sunday during our meetings, like, guys, I got a lot of passion, and I hope one day you find a career or a job that has this same type of passion that I have coaching high school football. I said, I really do. I said, because if you find a job or a career with this type of passion, you're going to enjoy life.
Our next highlight is a guy that I think is going to be all right playing college football, going to get one of those opportunities. Game 3, and it's his 3rd interception of the season. That's Aiden Emmons with our next highlight.
Elliott from the pistol. Fake the give to Nance. It's kicked up in the air. It's picked off on the deflection. Riverdale has it. Penalty flag is down. Riverdale has it at the 35-yard line as the tip drill. That was Aiden Emmons once again on the tip drill. There is a penalty flag down, but it looked to come after the interception. It should be Warrior football.
I believe it was just after the actual interception, so it should be a turnover.
It was tipped at the line of scrimmage. It went up in the air. There were a lot of black shirts around it. Emmons came away with it out to the 35.
And, Coach, you see in the replay there, not only does 41 get his hand up to get that ball up in the air, the receiver falls down on that wet track, and I think maybe that was what the flag had been, but no one touched him, and they wave it off.
Yeah, they did. House is another guy. He's grown up in this program, been a part. He's got 2 other younger brothers in our program, and they've all just got better every year. Each one of them, every year they've been with us, gotten better and got better football players. And he made a great play, exceptional play right there that gave us an opportunity to either tie or win the football game. And then again, Aiden's there to make a play and does what Aiden does, just make plays. And I couldn't be more proud of those two during that situation.
Coach, an 18-play drive ensues after that. I mean, you go down the field. It starts with 7 minutes left. You're down by 7. That drive just kept going and going and going. You had some 4th down situations. You had some 3rd down situations to keep it alive. Vaughn had another run. And that's our final highlight of the night. I want to go to that now. It's a play that we kind of questioned the spot on the football.
3rd and 5. He's got to get it to the 4. Snap. Hampton on the near hash. Dumps it off. Has it to Vaughn. Vaughn stumbles forward. Does he have the first down? It's going to be very
I think he does.
Close.
I think he's got
inside
it.
the 5. No, they signal 4th down. They signal 4th down, Ethan. He's
I don't know about that.
The ball is across the 5-yard line, and they signaled. Now that will make the Riverdale coaches irate after what we saw earlier on what appeared to be a stop. But Vaughn.
So I was referring earlier in the ball game, there's a play on 3rd down that looked like the defense had it completely stopped. They gave him the first down. And then on this play, I know the officials don't have the luxury of instant replay, but when you watch it, the ball's in his right hand. He goes forward past the 4-yard line. I don't see how he's marked short there.
Yeah, that 3rd down one was huge that you're talking about early in the game. And,
yeah,
that 3rd down one, I still don't understand. And that is frustrating part. You want to leave it up to the kids. And that 3rd down, even Coach Rail was walking to the other end of the field and just yelled, "That's terrible." And we got a sideline warning. He wasn't talking to anybody, but he could have been talking to a kid. I don't know who he was yelling at, but that's part of the game. And we all learn from it, and that's a tough situation. But yeah, it's hard for me to disagree on your opinion right there.
Well, but Coach, and what I want to ask you about is what it leads to is you then have to come out and go for it on 4th down in a unique formation with Hudson Fuqua taking a snap. Aiden Emmons is in as a lead blocker. I hadn't seen the formation before, but if that's ruled a first down, you get the opportunity to save that formation maybe for a goal line play. And instead you run it twice. They stop it the 2nd time, and it changes that sequence.
It does. It did. And you're exactly right. And, we needed to use it right then, like you said, because of the spot. And so we had to use it, and we felt comfortable using it, and they got the first down. So we were able to move the chains. And it was a tough situation, a tough way. We had to, again, present it to Blackman. Like you said, I'd rather present it to Blackman on a 3rd and 1 at the goal line.
The last play of the game, Jacob Vaughn goes up. I call it, it's in his hands. I mean, he goes up, I say touchdown, you wait a second, and then you see the ball on the ground. A nice play by Lark, their DB, to punch that football out. But I told Gavin Hampton afterwards, a few days later when I saw him, all of these things are things that somewhere down the line, it comes back and it usually turns, right? You learn something from it. And ideally, it turns in a game that the implications are even larger, right? This was not an elimination game. This was a region game. It's a loss. But when it comes down to an elimination game, that's going to be in the back of Jacob's mind. It's going to be in the back of players' minds. And the plays often turn out differently.
Yeah, again, Gavin did a great job on that play, getting Jacob the ball. Jacob jumped, caught it, and then, like you said, Lark got it in his hands, and it's 2 great plays. I mean, really, 3 players making great plays. Gavin, Jacob, and then Lark finishing it off. And again, all those players did exactly what they were coached to do and what they've been coached to do throughout the week. And like you said, we just need the football gods to start looking over us.
I also have to ask, knowing like as soon as the game was done, rain poured down again. You knew what the radar looked like. If that
Don't even ask. Don't even ask. I know what you're gonna ask. I was already looking. I was already looking at my chart, and we talked about it Sunday. One of the coaches said, "You were going to go for 2, weren't you?" I said, "Heck yeah, I was." I felt like we had the momentum. I felt, like you said, I did not want to come back on Saturday and play overtime. And yes, to answer your question, I didn't let you finish your question, but yes, I was going to go for 2.
As we turn the page, Coach, to look at Laverne Friday night, first road game of the year, and I know that you're specific about. Let's be sure we got the cleats and the knee pads and the mouth guards and all of our gear. Laverne will come in at 0-3. But there is new energy amongst the Wolverines. Their new head coach is changing things there. They got big plans, and they're going to come out and play hard every single snap.
Yeah, they are. Chris Johnson is a very good friend of mine. His son CJ is on the staff. Is on the defensive side of the staff for him, and of course I thought I was getting CJ when he graduated from MTSU last year, but unbeknown to me, his dad took the head coaching job at Laverne, and before I even could text him congratulations, he texted me, CJ's mine. Don't even talk to him. So we've had, like I said, CJ was an outstanding player for us for 4 years. One of the smartest kids we've ever had around here, and they're unbelievable people. The family's unbelievable. I've known the family for a long time, and they've done a lot of things for me personally and professionally to help me. And I can't thank enough for them. And I yes, he's got that program going. He's got them ready to go. And again, if we come out not ready, they're going to smack us in the mouth. Because I know CJ will have them ready to play us. CJ knows, our style and what we do around here. So, they're excited. Also on their staff is Ladarius Verge. I don't know if you realize this, but Ladarius Verge was a Mr. Football defensive lineman winner here at Riverdale for Coach Adelot. So he's on their staff also. So there's a lot of Riverdale connections over there at the Laverne. And what they're doing is they're what they learned here, they're implementing over there at Laverne. And, I'm excited to watch them grow. I'm excited to see what they do and how. And then, like you said, Chris Johnson is promoting that program, getting those kids excited. And what he's doing is unbelievable over there.
Well, it's taking pride in what they're doing, right? That's what I'm seeing from him. He's bringing pride. He's bringing energy back. And just like we talked about earlier, if you can find some carrots for these kids, you change lives.
Yeah, you do, and that's what he's about. He's about changing kids' lives and mentoring and helping them. And him and CJ and Ladarius Verd, they got energy, and so they're bringing that to the program and excitement. And it's got all the people in Laverne very excited about the Wolverine football program.
And what I saw from them last year in a game against Page is the quarterback's fearless. They don't quit. They'll play you right down to the end. They don't care if they're up, down, whatever the score is. They're going to play with tenacity throughout.
Yeah, they are. They're going to play. That's what the videos we got is they played all 4-quarter game. They didn't quit in any of them. A few of them, they're leading at halftime. So they are making progress and they're getting better, and their defense is flying around, making big plays. The offense, it's kind of like us trying to get some continuity and stability, and they're working hard, but they got some kids that can run. And so we got to be ready, and we got to be focused on our jobs, and we can't do anybody else's job. We just have to do our job, and that's what I reminded players. Don't overcompensate your job. Do what your coach is doing, what you're supposed to do, and trust the guy beside you to do his job.
How are you health-wise going into this first road game of the year?
Right now I think besides LB, we're pretty much good. Again, I stressed about LB and the situation and getting the continuity up front, but that's the biggest one we have right now, and the obstacle and the hurdle we have to overcome. As we know, LB, like there's no chance. We're not going to get him back this year, unfortunately, and he's in phenomenal young man, and I'm upset about the situation and the scenario, but I know that young man's we'll find him somewhere to play in college, and I don't know what level, but whatever level it is, he'll take the most advantage of it, and he'll thrive. And he's a great leader. He comes to practice. He's still out coaching. He doesn't have his head down. He's not pouting, and he's still part of our team and a very, very integral part of our team because of his leadership role.
We will be on the air at 6 o'clock Friday on aerosports.mixer.com with a replay of this coach's show. We will then be live from Laverne High School about 6:35 and then kick off at 7. Coach, we wish you the best of luck. First road game. It's on natural grass. I'm hoping that it stays dry this Friday.
Yeah, I think so. I've checked the weather religiously this week. It looks like there's no rain. It looks like it's not rain. But, last week at this time, when I was checking it, it was very low percentages. But then it kept going up and up. And then by Thursday, I'm like, good, man, I wish we'd have moved this game to Thursday. I didn't see that type of situation coming into effect for the Blackman game. But, it did. It happened. And like you said, it's something we learn from. It's a situation I learned from it. Me as a coach, I'll need to use this situation sometime in the future, whether it's with this team or a future team. And like you said, I can't brag enough. We did have a lot. Like my kids ate a lot of protein bars, a lot of peanut butter and crackers, peanut butter sandwiches during the break, to make sure that they had plenty of energy to finish the game. And like the kids handled it with success. And I can't brag on my coaching staff, the staff that helps with the game day setup for the film and things like that. I can't brag on everybody that's a part of our football, the administration that all helped with making sure that the game was run smoothly.
I appreciate you taking this time each week to kind of break this down. And like we said, spotlight not only the team performances, but these individual performances.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you highlighting our players, and we'll be able to keep highlighting more. And that's what it's about, promoting these kids. And it's awesome. And I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to get these kids and their name out there, because you never know what college coach or recruiter may click on and see something and send me a text and ask me about them. So, it means a lot. And I know Ms. Blair appreciates it, and Coach King and Coach Messer, they both really appreciate what you're doing around here. And I know Coach Messer's wanting to get you out for a few baseball games this spring.
Hey, I can't wait. Coach, we'll see you on Friday night. I'm going to let you go. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Remember, Warrior fans, be proud, be bold, be brave, be ever loyal. We'll see you next time on the Coach Will Kreisky Show. I'm Chris Bozen. Good night.
This is the Coach Will Kreisky Show, a weekly showcase of highlights, interviews, and insights from Riverdale head football coach Will Kreisky. This is Riverdale football. All hail.